Welcome back, Blade Gang. This old sword with you. Once again, something a little different today from the 511 company. You may know them more for clothing than for knives, but I have a few of their knives and I've done reviews on these. They're generally in the budget category, as this one is. Currently not available. You might be able to get your hands on one, I'm not sure. Blade HQ has it listed as out of stock at $45. So for an AUS 10 blade by a known designer, Steve Tarani, we have the Tarani Corsair 3.5, 3.5 inch blade. They do make a 2.5 inch blade as well. It's an interesting knife because if you're familiar with the Benchmade Aileron, also designed by Steve Tarani, this is kind of a budget version of that. However, shaped a little differently in the handle, but the blade more or less the same. So we'll do some measurements in a bit, but really what you have is wrong direction there. You have an FRN handle. This one happens to be gray. Might come in multiple colors. You can right away see this heavy granulate sort of texturing milled into the blade. And Steve Tarani's idea for this is kind of a last-ditch defensive weapon that he shows. If you check out Steve Tarani Aileron, if you search for that on YouTube, you pull up some videos where he's basically opening it with two hands like that. And that seems to be one of his preferred methods. However, it's got a thumb stud, double thumb stud. With a pretty good flick, you can get it to fly all the way out like a flipper. You got significant jimping milled into the handle and the blade, and it works. You got jimping on the back side near the pommel, and you've got a 4-position clip, which is kind of interesting. Left hand or right hand, so you got all your options there. You've got some serrations that are the ones that I happen to like. I think at some point way back when, either Benchmade or Spyderco, maybe not Spyderco, maybe Benchmade, started using these rounded serrations. They actually cut very well without hanging up. And you can cut a variety of materials, not just line and strapping and so forth. Anyway, you've got a very usable finger choil where you can choke way up. You have a handle that is designed to fill the palm. It swells towards the end, and you've got one finger choil, and then you rest the rest of your fingers there. So you can get back on it like that, and for my hand at least, have a grip even with the pommel, or you can choke up. Let's see what we got for measurements. I recently reviewed the Talon Karambit made by 511, designed by Doug Markita, by the way. And there's one or two others in the archives under 511. So we've got just shy of 8.5 inch overall. It's not short. And there's your 3.5 inch blade. And cutting edge kind of ends with the serration, so you got about a 3-inch cutting edge. That's interesting. We have handle thickness of right around 1/2 inch. Got a blade stock really of what are we going to call it? 3 millimeters. Bounces around a little, but I'm seeing 3 millimeters, so not particularly thick. The grind starts halfway, so you know there is a sharp edge there, and it is a fairly aggressive edge as edges go from the factory. I mean, it'll cut. It will cut, right, Doug? So you got a lot of handle, fair amount of blade, and relatively disproportionate cutting edge, but a very useful one. That's got a nice belly, got a point that's not overly fine. This can serve EDC purposes as well as Marshall blade defensive type purposes. And I know Marshall blade kind of as a term belongs to Mike Janich, so credit to him. 4.64 ounces, not particularly a lightweight, but there is no weight reduction, no skeletonizing. Nope. Seeing maybe something. Well, that's really the relief for the liner where they cut it out. So, liner locking knife, and it does lock very solidly. You got this unusual texture here that's designed to facilitate two-hand opening, which is interesting in this day and age. And a 4-position clip, and over 4 ounces. Again, you may find these out on like eBay and so forth. I can't remember if this was an eBay or an Amazon purchase. You might find them on Amazon. Yeah, 511 is making knives, and they have been for some time. So, hope you enjoyed this pretty much quick review of an unusual knife, one that's certainly out of the mainstream. Designed by Steve Tarani, a noted martial artist and especially Indonesian martial arts, noted karambit stylist and instructor, combatives instructor, military instructor. He's got quite a history behind him. Check him out. Hope you like this video. If you do, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. This Old Sword, signing out. Oh! Comparisons. My grand finale there, and I didn't do any comparisons. So, how does it stack up against the Griptilian? Right about the same. And how does it stack up against the Ontario Rat 1? Rat 1's going to be about 3/4 of an inch longer overall, and a blade a little bit longer. So, there you have the comparisons. My good friend Dirk Orning likes to even bring out a Sharpie. I'm not going to do that, but that's a good idea sometime. We'll compare it against various common everyday household items. At any rate, okay, I am signing out this time. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. This Old Sword.